While I've seen a lot of things in my 25 years as a sleep doctor, I've got to say the hardest has been watching people fall into these same 5 sleep traps over and over and over again. So in this video, I want to walk through what those traps are and, more importantly, how to avoid them. Because chances are you're probably doing at least one of these things and it's messing up your sleep. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce. Of course, everyone knows intuitively that good sleep brings good health. If you can get just enough and good enough sleep, you'll be a healthier, slimmer, less stressed, less anxious, less depressed. It's really all that simple. But let's be fair, life is kind of complicated. Sometimes the way we live doesn't line up with getting a good night's sleep night after night after night. In my decades as a practicing sleep doctor, I've isolated 5 different sleep traps that rob people of consistently logging a good night's rest. How many of these sleep blunders could you be making? Sleep trap number 1, living out of sync with your circadian rhythm. It turns out we're not all wired the same way when it comes to sleep. In fact, there are 4 main chronotypes, basically your genetic sleep personality. Let's break them down. First are the lions. These replace what we used to call early birds. So these early birds make up about 20% of people. They're up at dawn, full of energy, and start crashing around 5 p.m. Bears is the second chronotype. This is about half the population, and these are your typical 9 to 5ers, getting up around 7 a.m. and heading to bed around 11 p.m. A 9 to 5er works perfect for a bear. Wolves, that's another 20% of the population, and these replace the night owls. And so these people don't feel tired usually until midnight or later, and mornings are a disaster, total brain fog. And then finally are dolphins. So these are my insomniacs, kind of the hardest ones of the bunch. They make up about 10% of my population, and they never seem to get into a deep, sustained sleep. Here's the kicker. Society is built around only one of these schedules, the bear. So if you're not a bear, you might be forcing yourself to live out of sync with your natural rhythm. Quick story. There was a patient of mine that was a wolf, again, a night owl, and she thought she had severe insomnia her whole life. It turns out she was actually trying to sleep on a bear's schedule. Once she started going to bed at 1 a.m. and waking up at 9 a.m., her sleep problems vanished. Pretty bizarre, right? So lesson number 1, figure out your chronotype. There's a quiz over at sleepdoctor.com, and try to align your schedule with it as much as humanly possible. Figure out your type, maybe even ask your friends or your family to take the quiz as well so you can learn their types as well. It's actually a lot of fun, and you will be surprised at how much better you feel just by sleeping within your chronotype. All right, sleep trap number 2, playing catch up. Okay, hands up if you've ever thought, I'll just catch up on sleep over the weekends. Yeah, I'm looking around. I'm pretty sure almost every single person out there has raised their hand. Bad news, folks, it really doesn't work that way. Here's the math. If you're shortening yourself by about 1.5 hours of sleep each weeknight, you would need an extra 3.75 hours each night of the weekend to make up for it. That's literally trying to make up for 7.5 hours of lost sleep. So 11 hours of sleep per night on Saturday and Sunday, let's be fair, that's probably not going to happen for most of us. Plus, oversleeping on the weekends can lead to Sunday night insomnia, or what I call social jet lag. So your body thinks you've changed time zones, making it hard to fall asleep on Sunday night and leaving you exhausted on Monday. I mean, think about it. If you stay up late on Friday, sleep in on Saturday, stay up late on Saturday, sleep in on Sunday, what is your body going to want to do? It's going to want to stay up late on Sunday night and sleep in on Monday. And that, my friends, is why Mondays stink. What's the takeaway? Try to keep a consistent sleep schedule even on the weekends. If you must sleep in, limit it to an extra 45 minutes maximum. So here's what I'm saying. If you got crappy sleep during the week, Saturday morning, you can sleep in for 45 minutes, but not longer. If you do, you're going to change your circadian rhythm, and then you're going to get that dreaded Sunday night insomnia. Sleep trap number 3 is just plain old freaking out. So picture this. You wake up in the middle of the night, check the time on the clock, and now you start to panic about how little sleep you're getting. The problem is that anxiety causes your heart rate to spike, making it even harder to fall back asleep. Your heart rate should actually be 10 to 20% lower than your resting heart rate in order to enter into a state of unconsciousness. So what should you do instead? First, don't look at the clock. Just avoid checking the time if you possibly can. If you do wake up, please just lie back down and try to go back to sleep. Don't turn on the lights. Don't look at your phone, because remember, blue light is the enemy of sleep. And try to reframe your wakefulness as an idea called non-sleep deep rest. So now you're probably wondering, what do I mean by this? So There's data to show if you wake up at, let's say, 4 o'clock in the morning and you can't fall back to sleep, if you just lie there and relax in the dark, no sound, it's actually rejuvenative. To be fair, it's not the same as sleep, but it's about a third. So if you lie there for 3 hours, you're probably getting close to an hour's worth of sleep. Here's what's best about that is while you're relaxing, for many people, the natural sleep process can take over, and a lot of times you just fall back asleep. So being still and quiet is still rejuvenating, and you're more than likely to drift off rather than stressing out. Now, this is normally the part of the video where I would ask people to stop and I would say, hey, can you like and subscribe to the channel? But I'm not going to do that because instead, what I actually care about more is that you share this video. So do you know somebody that you think might be falling into one of those 3 sleep traps that I talked about? Well, I want you to send this video to them. I want them to know that there is help out there. So please share it with someone you know who is especially struggling with their sleep. And by the way, it's my goal to get as many people as possible to have a good night's sleep. So by sharing this video, you're helping me with my mission. So I just wanted to say thanks. All right, on to sleep trap number 4, disruptive sleep habits. Okay, there's a bunch of these. So let's talk about some habits that might be messing with your sleep, particularly your REM sleep. So remember, REM sleep is crucial for memory consolidation and emotional processing. So we want to protect it as best we can. Here are some major, what I call REM thieves to watch out for. Big one, alcohol within 2 hours of bedtime. We know for a fact that this reduces REM. While alcohol makes you feel sleepy, it's not your friend when it comes to your memory. Big meals close to bedtime, especially spicy food, that can actually give you heartburn, which can give you nightmares, which can be very disruptive. Caffeine late in the day, coffee, chocolate, soda, things like that, that's definitely going to have a pretty big effect on your ability and the quality of your sleep at night. Smoking, I mean, I got to be honest with you. Remember, nicotine is a stimulant. And so smoking anytime close to bedtime is a no-no. It's definitely going to be a problem and could prevent you from falling asleep. Believe it or not, there are even some recreational drugs out there that can prevent you from sleeping. Anything that's a stimulant would be considered a problem with that. And by the way, even high doses of high THC cannabis can reduce REM time. So you want to be careful if you are utilizing cannabis for sleep. You want to make sure that it is of low THC, not high THC. Also, by the way, would you believe it? There are some medicines in your medicine cabinet that might be helping you, but hurting your sleep. For example, a lot of the migraine medications that are out there, they contain caffeine to help move that medicine through your system. But of course, caffeine is not so great for your sleep. So please do me the favor and check in on some of those medicines because that's going to be super duper important. Next, the goal is to create an environment and a routine that supports all stages of sleep, including that REM sleep. So do yourself that favor and get rid of those bad habits and see if you can possibly create an environment that helps them out. All right, we're on to the last one, sleep trap number 5. And this is the biggest one. And it's the one that most people participate in, which is kind of amazing to me, which is hoping the problem just goes away on its own. I want to be clear, that won't work. Sleep never spontaneously just gets better. I've never heard of a case where it happens that way. I mean, I don't think you know it, but an estimated 70 million Americans have a sleep disorder. That's a lot of people that are out there tossing and turning. So if you're experiencing symptoms like difficulty falling asleep, frequent wake-ups, daytime fatigue, mood changes, or loud snoring, it's probably time to talk to a doctor. Many people don't know it. There are actually 88 distinct sleep disorders out there. But let's briefly cover 6 categories of sleep disorders just so you can kind of get to know them. Number 1 is insomnia. That's a big one, and that's either trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up too early. There are sleep-related breathing disorders, things like apnea, where you stop breathing literally during your sleep. There are circadian rhythm disorders, things like jet lag or shift work sleep disorder, where basically your internal clock is out of whack with your external. And then there's something called hypersomnolence. This is being incredibly sleepy, not like I haven't slept in a day sleepy, like I haven't slept in a week sleepy. These are people who generally have narcolepsy or some brain disorders like that. Parasomnias, this is the weird stuff in sleep. So this is the sleepwalking, the sleep talking, the somniloquy, somnambulism, all of these different things that occur during these parasomnias, which is kind of interesting. And then there's also sleep-related movement disorders. This can be something called periodic limb movements of sleep or restless legs syndrome. Very, very common, especially as we get older. Now, if any of these sound familiar, don't ignore it. Please talk to your doctor. They might ask you to keep a sleep diary, get some blood tests, or even to do a home sleep study or an HST. Remember, good sleep is a sign of good health. If you're not sleeping well, it could be a sign that something else is going on. So there you have it, folks. 5 major sleep traps to watch out for. 1, living out of sync with your circadian rhythm. That's going to be a problem. Number 2, trying to play catch-up sleep on the weekends. Number 3, freaking out when you wake up in the middle of the night is not going to do you any good. Number 4, indulging in sleep disruptive habits. I think we kind of talked about that one quite a bit. And then finally, ignoring the sleep problem. These are the things you cannot afford to do. Sleep really doesn't have to be more complicated than that. In fact, I have a new book out all about how we can simplify the way we think about sleep and wellness. It is called Sleep, Drink, Breathe. Wellness is too complicated. And guess what it focuses on? 3 things: sleep, hydration, and breathing. And how to focus on just these 3 simple things can have a profound impact on your overall sleep. So if you're interested to find out more about my book, you can find out right here. For everyone out there, sweet dreams from the Sleep Doctor, and I'll catch you in the next video.